All right, welcome to the new JFK Show number 139. We're just rolling down the road. We've got Dr. Jim Fetzer, Larry Rivera, Don Fox, and as you can tell, guess what? My eye is almost 100% healed. And I just thank Jesus. And actually, Liz Garrison didn't just have a prayer for me. She had an entire mass. So it's got to be working. So I'm just happy as I can be. So if I start dancing during the show, y'all understand why.
We miss that pirate patch, Gary.
Well, sorry, Charlie. We're just going to have to live without it. As sexy as I look with it. So, just kidding. All right, so tonight we've got a great show. We came across an article which actually has every single JFK film during the assassination and the aftermath. And before as well, the Paschall film. So this comes from Altered Dimensions. So we want everyone to know that's altereddimensions.net is where this particular one came from. They go over a lot of different topics that I agree and not. It doesn't matter. They have a great JFK one tonight. So we're going to go ahead and start with actually the position of Zapruder right there. So if you're in the mood to read, we can get it going with you, Dr. Fetzer.
Yeah. Do you want me to actually read part of this, huh?
I think it's worthwhile.
Given that the Zapruder JFK assassination film is shown so often, many people are unaware that there are more than one John F. Kennedy assassination films in existence. In fact, there are several. Alia, Bell, Bronson, Couch, Daniel, Dorman, Jeffries, Hughes, Martin, Muchmore, Nix, Paschall, Towner, Wigman, and possibly more. All of them shot film of the assassination or the events immediately preceding and following the killing of John F. Kennedy. Additional evidence can potentially be found in many of these films for those with keen eyes. And if you find it odd that most of the assassination films have frames missing, typically at crucial moments, then you are not alone.
So I take it these films show everybody running towards the Texas school book building where they thought the shots came from, right?
All right, so we have the very first one is the Zapruder film. Do you want to play the one?
Well, Gary, let me read the rest of it now. Another interesting aspects of these various JFK assassination films is the fact that in several instances, the videographers or photographers managed to capture each other filming, giving us not only excellent evidence of their precise point of view, but a means to tie all the various viewpoints together and hence determine the exact timeline of events. Check here for a full article on the John F. Kennedy assassination, subsequent conspiracy theories. Several John F. Kennedy assassination clips in one, including the Zapruder film. In the video below, we have assembled 4 different JFK assassination films. Each one is shown at its normal speed, followed by a segment showing the same sequence at half speed. For the well-known Zapruder film, we have even included a frame-by-frame version of the most famous JFK assassination video. No, you go ahead and play these, Gary. Go through, and then at the end, you can show the Costello combined cut.
Wow, that's a long video.
Yeah, but we won't do the whole thing.
Gee, I thought we got Barack Obama in there.
Trying to get that out. So. All right. Okay, so they start slowing it down and all that. So who would like to take on the most famous and altered of them all?
Larry, you're welcome to make comments if you want.
Well, we've done a couple of shows on the blink rate and somebody asked me a couple of days ago on Falling Man, the guy that is flipping back on his backside around 340s in 340s to 360s, and obviously Malcolm Summers, and we did an isolation of him last year when we were discussing Roy Schaefer and his blink rate and everything on this Zapruder film, and it was amazing, going back and looking at that, because just that little portion of the Zapruder film shows that it's obviously been altered. Okay, Malcolm Summers and I sent this gentleman a copy of that little clip. We had done an animated clip of an isolation. In fact, I'm getting an email from him right now. Yeah. Anyway,
well, Gary, for this one, we know how many ways the Zapruder was edited. We've talked about that a great deal. I think what's interesting here is to compare it with the other films to see how they were similarly altered to conform with the Zapruder, albeit imperfectly. So here's a Couch film. William Couch, and WFA-TV cameraman, was one of the follow-up cars behind the president, filming the events as they took place. He claims to have seen about a foot of a rifle being withdrawn from the Texas School Book Depository. Toward the beginning of the video, we see a policeman, Marion Baker, running toward the entrance of the Texas School Book Depository. Baker claims to have entered the building and proceeded to the second floor, where he found Oswald looking relaxed.
All right, so here we go. You have to go to YouTube to be able to full screen it.
You can leave it on the small screen, Gary.
Okay. We'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Take your pointer down, Gary, because it's keeping the...
Yeah. Yeah, if anybody wants to talk during the film.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay, I was watching this before the show started, and look at all the commotion down by the steps and then people running up towards the picket fence. Nobody seems to be running towards the school book building.
Right. So is this a Marion Baker one?
No, this is William Couch.
Yeah.
This is Couch.
Yeah. That's where Baker.
Runs in the building.
Yeah, that's him right there. Yeah.
And he caught Wigman too, running along.
Two of the most important things about this Couch film are A, he films Ike Altgens while he is still standing around Dealey Plaza, and B, he shows Clyde Haygood, the motorcycle escort, as he parked his bike right there next to the curb, next to the storm drain opening there. And which it confirms that it wasn't Haygood, that Haygood was not the Knoll rider. Okay, so
there's Altgens right there.
Yeah, there's Altgens right there. Okay, and Haygood. Some people had insinuated that Haygood might have been the Knoll rider, and as you can see, he's parking right there next to the storm drain, and then he runs up and he runs along the picket fence all the way to the corner there. Of the triple overpass with the cement railing there, where it joins with the picket fence. And he stood up there, and Kensler, I believe, there's a photograph of him standing atop that railing. So those are the 2 points that I wanted to make about the Couch film.
Mm-hmm. Jim?
No, I'm just enjoying watching it.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Marion Baker running into the TSBD.
Yeah, that's a zoomed-in view right there. So that's pretty nice.
Could you see any other police running into the TSBD? I think Baker was the only one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, well, at least that's the official version.
Yeah.
The origin of the Nick shooter comes from this film, which appears to be a shooter on the grassy knoll, which is probably the second best footage behind Zapruders of the actual assassination, shot by Orville Nix. It contains film of the motorcade on Houston Street, and then the assassination from a view opposite that of Zapruder. The grassy knoll viewpoint supports the theory that Cuban hitman Herminio Diaz, who had worked for Mafia boss Santo Trafficante Jr. and arrived in the United States just months before the assassination, acted as a second gunman, with 3 of the 4 shots coming from Oswald and the deadly headshot coming from the more experienced hitman Diaz. Well, we know that's all nonsense, but
that's all. We're just here to watch the films.
Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore there. We do not necessarily endorse.
Very relative.
I just leave it like that.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do it.
That's okay. Yeah, why don't you put it on YouTube, Gary? Put it on YouTube. I want to see.
We can do a 2-hour show on just the Knicks film.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, this is too important. We want to see this. Here we go. Okay. You can tell it's a lot better quality than the couch film.
All right, where do we start with this one? The guy running 10,000 miles an hour?
Yeah.
Clint Hill?
Here we go, slow motion. Okay.
We can't see it very clearly here, but in the back above this concrete fence, there's appears to be a shooter that Beverly and I became pretty excited about. She at one point thought this was her film, but of course not. I mean, look how far back it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, first thing about the Knicks film is that there was a lot more to it than what we see today. Okay, well, they first, actually, Orville Nix, Gail Nix's grandfather, actually called the FBI and told him, "Hey, I got this film here. You know, I've had it for a couple of weeks." Because the next night he went to and he filmed a football game, so it was all on the same reel. He didn't want the reel was still in the camera and it had not been completely used up, so he went the next day and in the film you can see parts of that. And then the next day after, he also went and he recorded Dealey Plaza. Actually, I believe that the next night or the next day, he went with his wife down there and he sort of like reenacted the film that he had taken. But anyway, as we all know, it eventually ended up with UPI, and Gary Mack and Robert Groden arranged to have it picked up after the 25 years of the copyright had expired. All right. Now, Gail writes in her book that something strange happened to her film, to her grandfather's film, while it was at UPI. One of the things that's very interesting is that the camera had been in the possession of the FBI for a long time, and Orville kept calling the FBI, you know, "Where's my camera?" And when he finally gets it back, it's all in pieces, and he couldn't use it. And we have, some people have surmised that the reason that happened is because they didn't want anybody to try to reenact the film using the same camera. The same situation, Jim, that you describe in your book with in the Great Zapruder Film Hoax, where they, you know, Douglas Horn had made arrangements to have that the camera tested in Dealey Plaza, and it was never, they were never able to do it for all kinds of different circumstances there. But anyway, the same situation arose, you know, with the Knicks film, where it had, when they finally returned it to Orville, it was all in pieces, unusable. I think.
Yeah. He said they had a frame missing here or there. You know, it had a couple of frames that weren't there, that were there before.
Yeah. Originally they had clearly you could see people behind the picket fence actually shooting rifles, you know, and so that's why eventually, after 25 years, obviously when Gail, you know, when Robert Groden finally went to pick up the film, it did not show exactly what had been captured originally. Now, Gail also writes that she was very suspicious of how Groden handled this, and when she asked him if he had altered the film in any way, she describes him as being very evasive, okay, and that kind of thing. So I recommend anybody who wants to know more about the Nix film to go ahead and buy her book. It's
well, being unable to test the camera in Dealey Plaza is, of course, an obvious stratagem to avoid having outcomes that falsify the official story. So they made sure it could not be done. If it had been a serious, authentic investigation, obviously it would have been done right off the bat.
No, and Jim, as you have written a few times in different articles and in your book, that the Nix film had to be synchronized with the Zapruder film.
Right.
Okay? That they showed the same event from different perspectives.
Right.
Right.
They don't have it quite right either, because Jackie's further back on the trunk.
That's
Clint
right.
Hill goes further forward in the Nix than in the Zapruder.
Yeah, they tried hard though. They really tried hard.
And when you consider that, oh wait a minute, Orville Nix saw the film the first the night that it was exposed and developed. He saw it, and in fact, they saw it at the place at the photo lab, and they actually showed it on a wall or something like that. And he described that what he saw after it was returned to him, was nothing. He saw there was a lot more in that film than what he.
Yeah, if you remember, Mark Lane asked him in his famous film, and he said, "Is your film the way it is when you delivered it to the government?" He says, "No, it's been have frames missing."
That's right. That's right. He was always very adamant about that, Gary. Thanks for pointing that out.
Bell film. U.S. mail carrier Mark Bell shot this film, and although he did not capture the assassination itself, he did capture events before and after. The reaction of the people can be studied in this film. It also presents another viewpoint of the grassy knoll in the Texas School Book Depository sometime after the shooting took place. He shot the film from Houston Street near Maine. It shows the motorcade traveling by on Houston, then turning left on Elm, and then speeding off under the triple overpass.
Oh man, this one has been altered big time, Jim. First of all, look at the blurriness of this version of the Bell film compared to when we did the show on the No Rider a couple of weeks ago. Remember we showed the tire tracks? The difference is night and day. It's laughable. It's laughable. Okay.
This could have been shot in 1920.
Yeah,
if they had color. I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah,
in fact, you'd have better films from that era than this.
Time has been removed. I'll point out a couple of instances when it comes up, but time has definitely been removed. Okay, time has been removed from the film. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, none of these films do we see a limo stop.
You can't say that he ran out of film here because he films the limo turning the corner, and then after it's gone under the bridge. So all that has been removed right there. Okay, and then when you see Harges standing next to the lamppost a little bit, now you'll see him on the right. He's already been up to the knoll and back, gone in between the limos.
Yeah, look at all the people running up the knoll, running up the steps.
Yeah.
Running towards the picket fence.
Mm-hmm.
So
there it goes. All right.
You see, Gene Hill was one of the people that went up that stair.
Yeah, look at that crowd up on the knoll there.
Yeah.
And then there was, and a few seconds back though.
He's got the 6th floor.
Did you see all the people that hit the deck when the limo was going by?
Yeah.
He filmed a lot of stuff in the aftermath.
But again, this is a very poor quality version of the Bell film. It's pathetic. It is what I mean. He captures the limo here, okay, and he's got plenty of film. Okay, you can't say that he ran out of film, and then the next thing you know, the limo's under the triple A.
Yeah, he caught him again. So.
They didn't have to alter this. All they had to do was snip it.
Yeah, There's an awful lot of stuff between
Yeah.
Houston and Maine and Elm Street.
In fact, you're missing this version is not even complete. It's missing the portion of Hargis running back to his motor.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's 18 minutes long. Does it seem to be repeating?
Well, it's not the copy that I have.
Let's
It's not the
watch it
copy
one more time here in slow motion. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the quality is bad. You know, it's blurry as heck, and it doesn't show. I think the most important part where Hargis is standing next to the lamppost there on the north curb of Elm, right in front of Zapruder's position.
Yeah. There's your motorcycle guy right there.
And we all know what Bobby Hargis did and what he said. He said, man, that limo came to a stop. A second Secret Service agent went into the limo. You know, Cheney said that he ran in between the two limos right in front of him on his way up to the little wall. You know, all of this happened, and we don't see it in any of the films. Jim, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, you see he's within arm's reach of Kennedy.
You know, it's nice we have those tire tracks on the grassy knoll, Larry.
Yeah.
Since those confirm everything else we have.
And it's from the Bell film, you know, from the original copy of the Bell film. It's in fact, it's not even a copy of the film. It's images that were taken off of the internet, frames from the Bell film that were taken off of the internet. That's all.
Hughes film. Captured by Robert Hughes, it has been claimed that at the 25-second mark, the film was tampered with to hide the reaction of President John F. Kennedy the moment the first shot was fired. At that point, you can see him pull his hand back as well as notice a reaction from bystanders. Again, several other films have frames missing at this precise point also. As with most of the others, Hughes shuts off the camera after seeing the president, but quickly turns it back on after hearing shots fired. Hughes shot the film from the sidewalk on the west side of Houston Street.
And obviously the doorway has been blacked out here. Where is it?
Oh.
It's loading.
This is also useful because of the blink rate. When we did the show on the blink rate, we used and it was the calibration portion of that show where we showed, you know, how the blink rate went back and forth. And then when you look at the Zapruder film, you know, that blink rate is non-existent, which, as Roy Schaefer has pointed out, is clear evidence that the film has been edited. Just like Douglas Jackson said, that film's been edited.
It's been cut up.
It's been cut up.
Been cut up. Yeah. Now, I always wondered about this guy walking backwards and that lady right there.
Yeah.
They seem to be going in the opposite direction.
Right. Like they knew what was going to happen anyway.
Yeah. They're the only ones.
I have a real good story about that one, but I don't want to.
Go ahead, Larry. Lay it on.
Go ahead.
Well, our friend Ed Ortiz has been doing a lot of investigating on the Colby thing, you know, on the impersonation of one of the detectives there at the City Hall the weekend of the assassination. And he believes that it was ex-CIA Director William Colby.
Colby himself.
That's right. And we did some overlays and, you know, I wouldn't say 100%, but there was a possibility.
Yeah, William Colby. Yeah, Colby, the man who declared that the CIA's program of disinformation would be complete when everything the average American believes is false.
No, that was Ronald Reagan's campaign manager. What Colby said, Ed Casey. What Colby said to Congress was that the CIA owns everyone of significance in the mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
William Casey, not Ed. William Casey.
Mm-hmm.
So you had two Williams, Don.
Yep, we're getting
William
our
Colby and William Casey, but it was Bill Casey who made that remark.
Yeah, we're getting our Reagan administration guys mixed up here.
Isn't Casey the guy that they found drowned in his
Colby.
Okay, Colby. Okay. Yeah, Colby. Yeah.
In odd kayaking, and he said too much. Bronson film. Captured by witness Charles Bronson. Bronson and his wife stood atop a concrete pedestal in Dealey Plaza at the southwest corner of Main and Houston Street. When an ambulance arrived in the plaza to pick up an epileptic seizure victim a few moments before the motorcade reached the area, which we know was simply fake to get the ambulance out of the vicinity, Bronson filmed a short sequence to capture that little bit of excitement, not realizing that he also captured a portion of the Texas School Book Depository building on film. As the presidential limousine drew near, Bronson filmed another brief sequence with his home movie camera before switching to take two still photographs as the car approached to turn onto Houston. Switching cameras again, Bronson filmed the limousine as it traveled north on Houston. He was holding his Leica camera ready to take another still when the first shot was fired, and he instinctively snapped a photograph. Within seconds, as the shooting continued, Bronson raised his home movie camera. His 2-second clip captured the fatal shot to President Kennedy.
Who is it?
You can see the van that you think is a command center right behind that guy's hair. You can see the van.
Right there in the middle.
Yeah, there it is. All right. Yeah, one more time.
Yeah, that's the only portion of significance there.
Right there. Well, it does show a good shot of that van. Seems to be really out of place, where any real Secret Service detail would not allow something like that. You know, so.
Who do you suppose was in the van? Ed Lansdale, maybe?
Ed Lansdale's walkie-talkie.
Could have been the Bushman, too.
Yeah, no doubt. So, all right, well, looks like we're coming to the middle right here, and we'll flip our hourglass. Yeah.
Muchmore film, filmed by Mary Muchmore. The color 8mm film that Muchmore photographed is one of the primary documents of the Kennedy assassination. The Muchmore film, with other 8mm films taken by Abraham Zapruder and Orville Nix, was used by the Warren Commission to investigate the assassination and position the presidential motorcade in a forensic recreation of the event in May 1964. Muchmore set up her 8mm Keystone movie camera near the northwest corner of Main Street in Houston and awaited the president's arrival. The Muchmore film consists of 7 sequences, 6 before the assassination, 1 during the shooting. Muchmore began filming the presidential motorcade with her movie camera from her initial location near the northwestern corner of Main Street in Houston as the motorcade turned onto Houston and into Dealey Plaza. She then turned and walked with Wilma Bond several yards northward to again film the president's limousine as it went down Elm Street. Her film then captured the fatal headshot seen from about 138 feet. 42 meters away. The film ends seconds later as Secret Service agent Clint Hill, attempting to protect President Kennedy, runs to, then quickly climbs aboard the accelerating limousine. Muchmore sold the undeveloped film to the Dallas office of United Press International on November 25th for $1,000. It was processed by Kodak in Dallas and flown to New York City. It appeared the following day on local television station WNEW-TV. While visiting her family in Oklahoma for Thanksgiving, Muchmore told him about the film she had taken of the assassination. Her family then told the FBI about the film. The FBI initially interviewed Muchmore in December of '63, during which she admitted she had a camera with her but denied that she took any pictures of the assassination. The FBI was unaware of the film's existence until a frame enlargement was published in the book 4 Days, the historical record of the death of John Kennedy in January 1964.
All right, here we go.
See, there's the blink rate again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, how many of these films do we ever see the turn from Houston onto Elm?
Just the Hughes and the Muchmore.
This is the Muchmore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now you see the limo getting down Houston, but then you don't really. It seems to be edited out there where it's actually turning onto Elm. We don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All the motorcycle cops not protecting the president. That's an awful lot of motorcycles just to be right out there in the middle of nothing.
You look at the blink. Look how nice that blink rate looks.
Yeah. Nice slow turn, open top.
Yeah.
You can almost hear Kevin Costner yelling, "It's going to be a turkey shoot."
Yeah. All right, here's where they make the turn, and there's no Oswald hanging out the 6th floor.
No, and you don't really see the turn here either. See, now it's on Elm. It's already down. Look how far down Elm Street it is before you start seeing filming. They're almost down to the steps.
Yeah. You know it's been a cut job.
Yeah. Let's watch it one more time. Zoomed in. Some nice bikes. All right.
As you can see the commotion in the limo. Look how far down the street the limo is.
Towner film. 13-year-old Tina Towner captured this film from the corner of Elm and Houston Street. This film shows exact timing of when the first shot was fired, but unfortunately, the film is damaged at this point. Towner used a Sears Tower Verizon Zoom home movie camera to film the event.
Yeah, Larry, didn't we do a show about her with Tina?
No.
Tina? Okay. All right, so there's the James Tower, Tina Tower, Patricia Towner. I'm sorry. All right, here it is.
Again, the doorway has been altered here. Oh, there it is.
It's unbelievable how crappy these copies are.
Yes. Yes. There's some better versions of these. There's the Towner vans right there.
What are you talking about? Counterbands.
The Towner vans. We call them the Towner vans. The vans that you talked about, that you mentioned earlier.
Oh, okay.
That were shown in the Bronson. See, in the Towner, if you look at the frames that are of excellent quality, you clearly see the vans there.
Yeah, this isn't. I mean, the fact that we're using YouTube, we have a little bit of degradation to the quality of the video, but so. Hey, last one.
And say, look at how close they are to Jackie here. I mean, open top. I mean,
oh, they passed 5 or 8 feet in front of them, right there, turning the corner there.
All right, this one surfaced much later.
It's a very short, and it doesn't show much. It shows
the motorcycle cops not protecting.
Paschall filmed by Patsy Paschall from the 3rd floor of the courthouse on Houston. It gives us a view of the events leading up to the assassination and the chaos that followed. Patsy Paschall shot this home movie from the northwest corner of the old courthouse building across Houston from Dealey Plaza.
Yeah, just run it once, Gary, because it's very, very short.
Yeah. Okay. All right, to me, it's the row of motorcycles that aren't doing anything.
See, supposedly, right there at the corner.
Yeah, look at that, 4 in a row. 5 motorcycles in a row, not doing anything.
Yeah, somebody supposedly identified the Rambler station wagon there in one of those frames.
And then the rest of the motorcycle police are behind him. So just the damnedest formation I've ever seen, I think one of them said.
Yes.
That was Ruth Payne's station wagon, Larry?
Yeah. Somebody, had identified it, yeah. Darnell, that's where, see, in fact, there's Alton's right there.
Yeah.
But, I believe this is where they show the prayer man, right? The prayer manites.
Darnell filmed by James Darnell, in which we can see the immediate aftermath of the assassination. Later, Darnell filmed the activity behind the grassy knoll shortly after the assassination had taken place. We can in particular see a policeman and a man being moved along by this policeman, this man wearing a fedora. What's interesting is this man, upon seeing James Darnell and his camera, attempts to shield his face from it. Another witness that day told of a man in a suit instructing them to leave the area.
Just 1 minute long.
Alton's, and he's still in the plaza.
Yeah, look out, Newman pounding the ground.
There's police telling people.
Yeah, there was a Feldora hat guy.
Yeah.
Like he was getting out of town.
Look, there's people there on the knoll.
Yeah, look at Newman behind him.
Yeah, those are the Newmans.
Yeah, the Newmans on the ground. Yeah, they were on the ground.
And that's Alton's right there. You know, he's calm. You know, he's not in any hurry to get back to the Dallas Morning News. You know, and have his photograph, his camera. You know, processed. You know.
Yeah, there's the guy looking a little official there.
Yeah, how were policemen up on by the picket fence?
Right, and so fast.
Yeah.
Well, that's because this is already probably a couple of minutes after, 2 or 3 minutes at least.
Yeah, but they were also gatekeeping, literally.
There we go.
Is that the last one?
No.
I know, we got a bunch of them. Telling you.
Because I wanted to mention the one that got away, okay, that never saw the light of day, and I'm talking about Maggie Brown and Ann Donaldson, the two women from the Dallas Morning News who were recording.
Right. They were filming. You can see they were filming.
Right there. They're clearly shown in the Alton's photograph filming LBJ, and you can clearly see that in the Alton's photograph, that camera has been blacked out via airbrushing, and the woman next to her with an even larger ink blot, who apparently might have been also filming the assassination. So we know that those two films or photographs have never seen the light of day. You know,
exactly right.
So there's a lot that that got away.
All right, Jeffries film.
Jeffries film, filmed by George Jeffries. It's a rare color film of the JFK assassination events that was not discovered until February 2007. We get an excellent view of President John F. Kennedy and Jackie as they pass by about 90 seconds before the assassination. There is film at the end of the Texas School Book Depository, but it's believed to have been filmed the next day.
I've never seen this one.
Had a lot of people with a camera that day.
Well, it's the President of the United States, right? How often does he come to Dallas?
Yeah, and plus, I think it was a golden age of home cameras.
Yeah, the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, everyone was getting into the Polaroid, not having to develop them.
Yeah, the Super 8.
At the drugstore.
Oh, this is Main Street. Again, the blink rate. Oh, yeah, excellent.
Yeah, this is the best one so far. You can see her white teeth.
Look at how close they are to Jackie there.
Yeah.
You can see her teeth.
Uh-huh.
The old 6th floor up there. Wonder why he was filming up there.
They said that might have been the next day, though, that he filmed it.
Ah, yeah.
Book depository, yeah.
Yeah, after he read the paper, he was supposed to go back and look. Didn't film it the day before. There's our row of useless cops.
Yeah, look at the blink rate. I mean, clearly. One.
Yeah, that's a clear one.
And you don't see any of that in the Zapruder film. What's going on?
Yeah, look at how close they were to Jack and Jackie there. I mean, just...
That's protection.
Yeah, Fort Sam. Yeah,
Jim has mentioned many times about that photograph by the Dallas Times Herald, that shows the bus right there, right next to the limo, and the crowd just spilling out onto the street.
I've heard you talk about the Wigman, or refer to the Wigman a bunch of times, Larry. Yeah, Wigman.
Yeah, Wigman, of course. I think that's the one that proves that the Alton's has been altered. I mean, one of the other tools that we have used to prove that the Alton's has been altered, because certain people appear in the Wigman that are not in the Alton's. They should be in the Alton's. Okay. So,
Wigman film. Dave Wigman Jr., an NBC cameraman, was one of the cameramen filming in the follow-up cars behind the presidential limousine. Actually, the photographers were moved to the back. After the assassination, Wigman jumped from his car and ran toward the grassy knoll, rolling the film as he ran. He then runs back and films the infamous Newman family. Why infamous? Who have taken cover, fearing more shots were to be fired. Below is a picture taken by witness Richard Bothun. In it, we can see the exact position that Dave Wigman filmed from.
Yeah, I have to take exception to that. Why infamous? Well,
yeah,
I don't understand.
That's just wrong.
I think maybe because the Newman family ducking for cover up there kind of throws.
Oh, well, hey, no, and add to that, maybe that they were never called before the Warren Commission, okay, the closest witnesses to the assassination. Come on, give me a break.
You're completely right, Larry. This one is actually useful.
Doorway. Now he pans back, and you can see everybody in the doorway clearly. Well,
he also catches Harrelson and Rogers there in the pergola area.
Yeah. Got old Frazier in there, right?
Yeah, Frazier's in the doorway, in the sunlight, like you said.
Yeah, there's the Newmans.
Yeah.
On the deck.
There's Clyde Haygood.
There's another lady taking cover.
But she's pretty.
Yeah.
Who is that lady?
I forgot her name. I have her somewhere. See,
Is it Woodward? Woodman?
No, it's not. I wasn't Mary Woodward. Mary Woodward was standing on the street next to Maggie Brown.
So you've used this film many times, Larry?
Yeah. Well, the first part where he pans the entrance and then he comes back. Okay, and there are a lot of really good data coming out of that, because the images when he pans back are pretty good. But even though I believe there's even better frames, again we're seeing something that's not in its original form, but that's just the way everything is on the photograph as far as the photographic record is concerned.
Yeah, there's people way up there in the pergola. They're taking cover.
Mentesana film captured by Ernest Charles Mentesana of the aftermath of the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. You can see policemen talking among themselves, seemingly decide what steps they need to take in the assassination aftermath.
What do we do now? Whoops. So what's the significance of that rifle, Larry?
I don't know, but I'm thinking that maybe there was somebody in Dealey Plaza, sort of spreading this information. All the photographers, this is where it came from up there, So everybody seems to have been, focusing on the southeast window of the 6th floor.
Yeah, it almost says maybe something went over the police radio. Hey, there's a shooter in the Texas School Book building.
Yeah, let's point a shotgun at him.
Yeah.
A Mauser? Is that a Mauser?
Not a Mauser. It's a Remington.
It's not a Mannlicher Carcano.
But boy, everyone's the next day. Everyone's looking at the 6th floor, not the day of.
No, when it happened, everybody ran up the hill.
And they had to read in the papers to look at the. Y'all know how the story goes. There it is. All right.
Dorman.
Okay.
Dorman film captured by Elsie Dorman, probably the worst footage shot of the assassination. Very unstable, but does give us the position of Tina Turner holding her camera on the corner of Houston and Elm. Dorman worked on the 4th floor of the Texas School Book Depository, took this film from that location. It shows a motorcade on Houston Street, but unfortunately does not capture the presidential limousine during the assassination itself.
We all know Sandra Stiles and Vicki Adams. They worked with Elsie Dorman, and they were standing right next to her when this film was taken. And in this film, you can see how close those motorcycle escort were to the limo. Okay, we've been talking in a couple of shows about how close James Chaney was and how Blender showed the relationship between the limo and the motorcycle cops in 3D. Well, this film here shows how close the motorcycle cops were coming down Houston towards the Texas School Book Depository. And so, yeah, if you run it again, you'll see that they're actually inside of the traffic line. At least Shaney and Jackson is a little bit to the right of him. Yeah, right here.
Those two guys on the left side of the limo.
Yeah, that's right. It just exactly like we see in the Autumn 6 photograph where he's practically touching the president, you know? Yeah, you can see the Towners, you can see the Willis.
Yeah, in Blender, you can almost see the motorcycle and the reflection on the limo.
Martin film captured by Jack Martin. He is likely in a position between the Towner and Robert Hughes at the time he's filming the president on Houston. We can also, for a brief moment, see President Kennedy on Elm Street after it rounds the corner onto Elm, shot through the trees.
Yeah, but the most important footage that Martin captured was the gorilla man out in their plaid shirt outside the Texas School Book Depository 10 minutes after the assassination.
Yeah, there's more blink rate.
That's right. That's right. And it's nice and uniform, back and forth, back and forth. You know, I believe we calculated 0.65 seconds.
It was brilliant of Roy Schaefer to sort that out.
Yeah.
This appears to be extensively edited too.
I don't think. Are you sure this is? Is he sure this is the Martin?
I think I clicked on the right one.
No. Okay.
That's, see, I don't see the front of the book depository. It must be coming up now.
I don't think this.
You don't have the Gorilla Man.
No, I don't think this is Martin.
Yeah, it wouldn't be surprising if this guy got some of them wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think. I look like the Bell, actually.
Daniel's film, captured by Jack W. Daniel, hoped to capture a home movie of President Kennedy against the picturesque backdrop of Dealey Plaza, especially the area now known as the Grassy Knoll. If you actually go ahead and start it, Gary, I'll read it when we have it there so that we're not just, pausing, hanging loose.
All right, go ahead.
He purposely stood several feet behind the children so they could be captured on film waving at the president. I told my boys, now when the motorcade turns off of Main, start waving because he'll be there in seconds.
All right. So you want to go ahead and play it?
Yeah, armed with his pistol grip.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
armed with his pistol grip, Argus home movie camp purposely stood several feet behind the children. I told my boys. Seconds later, Daniel and his sons heard shots being fired, but two of his sons continued to wave as the motorcycle emerged from the triple underpass. As the limousine sped past their position in a blur, Daniel captured this confusing scene on film.
So, Larry, this is
you got
where
ahead of the car.
When we went to Dallas in 2014, we stood there and we took photographs, remember?
Yep.
You see the foot hanging out the car?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
How are we doing on time, Gary?
We don't have too much time left. You can see our...
We got 6 minutes.
Hey, put away the high-tech smartphone. We're timing it right here.
Okay. The Daniels film did not surface until something like 1979. And this is the one film that completely refutes Chief Curry's BS about James Shaney pulling up next to him and telling him that the president was fatally shot. If you look at the Jack Daniels film, you'll see clearly that Curry is abreast with the limo, even almost passes the limo, and all the motorcycle escort are well behind. So, this actually has never happened. It's been propagated all, throughout history that, and it's been accepted, and that's just not the case. Okay.
So his name was really Jack Daniels?
What's that?
His name was really Jack Daniels?
Yeah, the whiskey.
So, all right, we've got just a minute or two left, and we've got our final Zapruder film that we were hoping Dr. Fesser was going to talk us through, but we'll just go ahead and play it once.
There it is.
Yeah, this is the best we have.
The Costello combined cut. Even the MPI version has missing frames, has frames out of order, suffers from aspect ratio and pincushion distortion. John corrected all of that.
I know.
Run it again.
If I can get my, is there a way to make it a loop?
Well, sure. When you play it, it gives you a loop option right at the beginning, but it's okay. You're doing fine.
I'm trying to get rid of it, but
look at how much more information we have in the sprocket area and over the left. That's really amazing.
Except for frames 209 to 211.
No, I even found them, Larry.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
all right, one more time. I guess we can do our final comments.
Well, the original was taken to the National Photographic Interpretation Center on Saturday. It was an 8mm already split film developed in Dallas. They had to have a shop owner open his store to get an 8mm projector to even view it. The substitute was brought from Rochester. It was a 16mm unsplit film that had been developed at the CIA secret Hawkeye Works lab and brought down by an agent who identified himself as Bill Smith to effect the substitution.
Yeah, and how about, okay, here we see the lead motorcycle patrolman making the turn, and then but we don't see the limo make the turn. It's just there all of a sudden.
Just poof.
Yep.
There. You got it. So just so many things wrong with this. We've done many shows on this one. Dr. Fez has written a couple of books.
Now, I mean, Jim DiEugenio will tell you that there may have been some minor alterations to this film.
Hey, what happened to the Hollywood? Remember the Hollywood group that's supposed to come out and solve everything? Whatever happened to that?
Gary, I have no idea. They were supposed to appear at the Dallas conference, and I think it was because they were not there that he put in this guy. What was his name? This obvious op who spoke before I did. I mean, I had to change my whole presentation to rebut what he was saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, all right, fellas. I guess we had a pretty interesting show there. We covered, I guess, maybe all of them. Are there other ones, Larry?
No. Sydney Wilkerson was the person who was going to do that, and all of a sudden, she had to pull out.
I see. So, all right, Don, last thought?
Well, missing frames, and it's painfully obvious once you watch these films a bunch of times. For the newbie out there, maybe it's not quite as obvious, but once you see it a time or two or 3 or 20, you can tell where this part's gone, that part's gone.
Once Larry gets a hold of them.
Yeah.
And it's always at the most crucial moment, Don.
Yeah, that's coincidence, Larry. Define the laws of probability.
Yeah, right.
Got it. All right, the sands of time have run out on us all, gentlemen. So this has been the JFK Show, number 139. We'll see you next week.